Ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to discuss a topic that reaches deep into the heart of human relationships, personal growth, and emotional maturity. It is a subject that, if fully understood and applied, has the potential to transform not only our individual lives, but also the way we navigate the complex social and professional environments we find ourselves in. Today, we are talking about a principle that is as old as time itself. Don't react. Cut them off silently. It is a principle that seems simple on the surface, but carries layers of wisdom that are revealed only through careful reflection and deliberate practice. In our lives, we often face challenges, difficult people, and situations that test our patience, our self-worth, and our values. The natural inclination in many of these circumstances is to react sometimes in anger, frustration, or even despair. However, I submit to you today that true strength and wisdom are not found in our reactions, but in our ability to refrain from reacting and instead remove ourselves from toxic environments silently. Silence is a powerful tool. It is often said that silence speaks louder than words. There is truth in that. When you choose to remain silent, you are not conceding defeat. You are, in fact, exercising a level of control that many do not possess. You are choosing not to engage in unnecessary conflict or negativity. This is not to say that silence is weakness. Far from it. Silence is a deliberate, conscious choice, and it is often the wisest course of action in situations where reacting would only escalate tensions. Imagine for a moment a scenario in which you are provoked, someone hurls insults at you, they try to demean you or belittle you. Your instinct might be to defend yourself, to fire back, to react. But what would happen if instead you chose silence? What would happen if, rather than reacting to their negativity, you allowed their words to fall on deaf ears? In that moment, you have robbed them of their power. You have taken control of the situation by refusing to play their game. Silence disarms those who seek to manipulate or provoke you. It takes away their fuel because they are looking for a reaction. When you choose not to give it to them, they are left with nothing. In this way, silence becomes your shield, your defense against the toxicity of others. The second part of our principle is to cut them off silently now. What does that mean? It means that once you have chosen not to react, you must also make the decision to remove yourself from the presence of individuals or situations that are not aligned with your values or your purpose. This is an act of self-respect. It is about protecting your peace and your mental well-being. Cutting someone off silently does not mean you harbor bitterness or hold grudges. It means you recognize when a relationship or a situation is no longer serving you, and you take the necessary steps to distance yourself from it without engaging in drama or confrontation. You see, life is too short to invest your energy into people or situations that drain you, that take away your joy, or that distract you from your purpose. I think of it like pruning a plant. In order for a plant to grow and thrive, sometimes you have to cut away the dead leaves or the parts of the plant that are no longer contributing to its health. This is not done out of anger or resentment, but out of necessity. The same is true for our lives. We must be willing to cut off what no longer serves us so that we can grow and flourish in the areas that do. The ability to refrain from reacting and to cut people off silently is deeply rooted in emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to understand and manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of others. It is the ability to step back from a situation, assess it objectively, and make a decision that is not driven by immediate emotions but by long-term wisdom. Reacting impulsively is often the result of letting emotions take the wheel. When someone provokes us, our immediate response may be to lash out, to defend ourselves, or to try to hurt them in return. But this is a trap. It is a trap that keeps us locked in a cycle of negativity. Emotional intelligence allows us to see beyond the moment and to recognize that not every battle is worth fighting. Some battles are won through silence and by walking away. Self-control is the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. When you master the art of self-control, you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You are no longer at the mercy of other people's actions or words. Instead, you become the master of your own reactions, and in doing so, you regain control of your life. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with noise, distractions, and negativity. From social media to our personal interactions, there are countless opportunities to be drawn into conflict or drama. But I challenge you to take a different path. Guard your peace. Guard it fiercely. Because once you allow negativity into your life, it becomes much harder to get rid of it. Guarding your peace means being selective about the people you allow into your life. It means being intentional about the environments you place yourself in. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. And that is okay. It is not a reflection of failure, but of growth. As you evolve, so too must the company you keep. Cutting people off silently is an act of guarding your peace. It is a recognition that you have the right to choose who you allow to influence your life, your energy, and your mental health. And sometimes, the best way to protect yourself is not to engage, not to argue, but to simply walk away without a word. One of the most important aspects of cutting people off silently is discernment. Discernment is the ability to judge well, to see beyond the surface and understand the deeper truths of a situation or a person. Not every offense requires you to cut someone off, and not every difficult relationship is toxic. This is where discernment comes in. Discernment allows you to evaluate whether a relationship or situation is worth investing in or whether it is time to move on. It helps you to distinguish between someone who is having a bad day and someone who consistently drains your energy. It helps you to see whether a situation can be resolved through communication or whether it is best to walk away. Discernment is developed over time through experience and by listening to your inner voice. It is about being in tune with yourself and trusting your instincts. When you cultivate discernment, you are less likely to react impulsively and more likely to make decisions that are in alignment with your values and your long-term well-being. Letting go is one of the hardest things for many of us to do. We hold on to relationships, jobs, and situations long after they have ceased to serve us. We hold on out of fear, fear of the unknown, fear of being alone, or fear of failure. But there is strength in letting go. When you cut someone off silently, you are letting go of the need to control the outcome. You are letting go of the need for closure or for them to see things your way. You are releasing the situation, and in doing so, you are freeing yourself. Letting go does not mean you don't care. It does not mean you are indifferent. It means you have decided to prioritize your well-being over the need to be right, or the need to hold on to something that is no longer working. It is an act of self-love and self-respect. Every decision we make has a ripple effect. When you choose to react, you are setting in motion a series of events that can escalate and spiral out of control. But when you choose not to react, when you choose to cut someone off silently, you are creating a ripple effect of peace and self-control. Others will notice your calmness, your ability to rise above the noise, and they will respect you for it. They may not understand your silence at first, but in time, they will see that your decision not to engage in negativity was an act of wisdom. And in the process, you will inspire others to do the same. Your decision to cut people off silently is not just about you, it is about the example you set for those around you. It is about showing others that there is a different way to handle conflict, a way that does not involve shouting or drama, but one that is rooted in quiet strength and self-respect. As we navigate through life, we must come to understand that boundaries are essential. Boundaries are not just lines drawn to keep people out. They are structures we put in place to protect our emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. When you decide not to react and instead choose to cut someone off silently, you are asserting your boundaries. The concept of boundaries can often be misunderstood. Many people associate setting boundaries with being cold or unkind. But in reality, boundaries are a necessary act of self-care. They are a reflection of your understanding of your own worth and your decision not to allow others to deplete your energy or disrupt your peace. Boundaries say, I value myself enough to protect my space, my heart, and my mind. People who violate boundaries, whether knowingly or unknowingly, often expect that you will compromise your peace for their comfort. They may push you, provoke you, or guilt you into reacting in a way that serves their agenda. But you have the power to assert your boundaries without confrontation. Silence is one of the strongest tools for maintaining boundaries because it sends a clear message without opening the door to further conflict. Silently cutting people off is the ultimate expression of boundary setting. You are not engaging in long, drawn-out explanations. You are not asking for their permission to disengage. You are simply asserting your right to peace and moving on without a word. Detachment is another key element in understanding how to cut people off silently. When we talk about detachment, we are not talking about indifference or a lack of care. Detachment, in its healthiest form, is about releasing the need to control other people's actions, thoughts, or feelings. It's about accepting that you cannot change others. You can only change how you respond to them. When you are attached to the need for someone's approval, or when you are emotionally entangled in their drama, you give them power over you. They are able to provoke reactions from you, to manipulate your emotions, and to drain your energy. Detachment, however, gives you the freedom to step back and say, this is not mine to carry. It allows you to see things from a higher perspective and to recognize when it's time to walk away. Detachment is not about cutting yourself off from feeling or caring. It's about understanding that your emotional well-being is your responsibility and no one else's. It's about acknowledging that while you can have compassion for others, you are not obligated to sacrifice your peace for their chaos. In the context of cutting people off silently, detachment means you are able to leave a situation without feeling the need to justify yourself or to make the other person understand your perspective. You simply walk away knowing that your peace is more valuable than their validation. Engagement is a choice. We often think that when someone provokes us, we are obligated to respond. We believe that silence might be interpreted as weakness, or that if we don't defend ourselves, we are allowing others to win. But here's the truth: not every battle is worth fighting. In fact, many battles are designed to pull you down to a level that is beneath you. When you choose non-engagement, you are saying that your energy, your peace, and your focus are too valuable to be wasted on trivial matters. Non-engagement is a powerful strategy because it deprives those who thrive on conflict of the reaction they seek. Some individuals feed off drama, often making others uncomfortable or drawing them into their own emotional storms. They want you to react because it validates their behavior. But when you refuse to engage, when you choose silence, you deny them that satisfaction. Non-engagement does not mean you are ignoring the problem. It means you are solving it in the most efficient way possible by removing yourself from the equation entirely. You are saying, this is not my fight, and I will not allow it to disturb my peace. There is great wisdom in knowing when to walk away and let others deal with the consequences of their own actions. This doesn't mean you are running from conflict. It means you are prioritizing your inner world over external noise. It means you are choosing the higher path, one where you are not constantly dragged into unnecessary altercations. When you cut people off silently, you give yourself the gift of clarity. So often, we remain in situations or relationships out of habit, obligation, or fear of the unknown. We cling to people who no longer align with our values, not because we want to, but because we are afraid of what life will look like without them. But here's the truth: when you let go of what is no longer serving you, you make space for clarity. Clarity comes when you are no longer clouded by the noise of toxic relationships or draining situations. It comes when you have the courage to step back and evaluate your life from a place of peace. Silence allows for reflection. When you are no longer reacting, when you are no longer caught up in the drama, you can see things for what they truly are. You begin to see what is important and what is not. You begin to understand who is truly there for you and who is only interested in using you. Clarity also allows you to reconnect with your purpose. So often we lose sight of our purpose because we are too busy managing other people's expectations or dealing with their drama. But when you cut people off silently, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters. You regain control of your time, your energy, and your focus. Emotional maturity is a critical component of cutting people off silently. It is the recognition that you are responsible for your own emotions and reactions, and that no one else can dictate how you feel. Emotional maturity means understanding that not every offense requires a response, and that sometimes the best response is no response at all. When you are emotionally mature, you are not easily provoked. You do not react impulsively or out of anger. Instead, you pause, you reflect, and you make decisions based on wisdom, not emotion. Emotional maturity allows you to see beyond the immediate situation and to consider the long-term consequences of your actions. Silently cutting people off requires emotional maturity because it is not an act of revenge or bitterness. It is an act of self-preservation and wisdom. It is the recognition that your peace is too valuable to be sacrificed for temporary satisfaction. It is the understanding that silence can speak volumes and that walking away can be the most powerful statement you make. Emotional maturity also involves the ability to let go of the need for closure. So often we feel that we need to explain ourselves to make the other person understand why we are walking away. But in reality, true closure comes from within. It comes from knowing that you have made the best decision for yourself, regardless of whether the other person understands or agrees. There is a quiet beauty in moving in silence. In a world that is constantly shouting, constantly seeking attention, there is something profoundly powerful about those who move in silence. These individuals are not interested in making a scene or drawing attention to themselves. They are focused on their own path, on their own growth, and on their own peace. Moving in silence means you do not need to announce your intentions. You do not need to explain why you are cutting someone off or justify your actions. You simply move quietly and purposefully, knowing that your decisions are for your own well-being. When you cut someone off silently, you are moving in silence. You are not engaging in arguments or drama. You are not seeking validation or approval. You are simply making a decision that is best for you and walking away. There is a dignity in this that cannot be overstated. Silence in this context is not passive. It is active. It is a choice. It is a decision to prioritize your own peace over the chaos of others. It is a decision to protect your energy and to focus on your own growth. There is a famous saying, actions speak louder than words when you choose to cut someone off silently. You are letting your actions do the talking. You are not engaging in endless debates or trying to convince someone of your point of view. You are simply walking away. And in doing so, you are sending a powerful message. Your actions, your decision to remain silent, to cut someone off, and to move forward with your life say far more than words ever could. They show that you value yourself, that you have enough self-respect to walk away from what no longer serves you, and that you are not afraid to prioritize your peace. Actions, especially when taken in silence, have a way of resonating deeply with those around you. People may not understand your silence at first. They may question it, challenge it, or even mock it. But in time, they will come to realize that your silence was not weakness, but strength. They will see that you are not easily provoked and that you are wise enough to know when to walk away. There is a certain confidence that comes with choosing silence. It is the confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. It is the confidence that comes from being at peace with your decisions, even when others may not understand them. When you cut people off silently, you are embodying this quiet confidence. You are not seeking approval or validation. You are not trying to prove anything to anyone. You are simply making a decision that is best for you and moving forward with your life. Quiet confidence is one of the most powerful forms of strength. It is the ability to stand firm in your choices without needing to shout about them. It is the ability to walk away from situations that no longer serve you without feeling the need to explain yourself. This confidence is rooted in self-awareness. It comes from knowing your worth and understanding that you are not obligated to stay in situations that diminish you. It comes from the recognition that your peace is too valuable to be compromised. Once you have made the decision to cut someone off silently, there is often a period of solitude that follows. This solitude is not to be feared. Rather, it should be embraced as a time for reflection, healing, and personal growth. Many people fear being alone because they associate solitude with loneliness. But solitude is a gift. It is a time when you can reconnect with yourself, reevaluate your goals, and realign your life with your true purpose. Solitude allows you to gain clarity about who you are and what you want out of life. When you are constantly surrounded by noise, whether it be from people, social media, or other external sources, it can be difficult to hear your own thoughts. But when you embrace solitude, you create space for your inner voice to speak. Cutting people off silently often leads to a necessary period of solitude. This is a time when you can reflect on the relationships or situations that no longer serve you and ask yourself why they were in your life to begin with. What lessons did you learn? What did these experiences teach you about yourself and about others? This period of introspection is vital for your personal growth. In solitude, you are free to rediscover yourself without the influence of others. You are able to focus on your own needs, desires, and aspirations. This is a time for self-care, self-love, and self-improvement. It is a time to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. One of the reasons many people struggle with cutting others off, especially silently, is the fear of losing relationships. We are social beings, and the idea of losing connections even toxic ones, can be terrifying. However, it is important to understand that not all relationships are meant to last forever. Some people come into your life to teach you something, and once that lesson is learned, it may be time to move on. Losing a relationship does not mean you have failed. In fact, it often means you have grown. It takes courage to walk away from something that no longer serves you. It takes strength to recognize that you deserve better and to take action to protect your peace. When you cut someone off silently, you are making the decision that your mental, emotional, and spiritual health are more important than maintaining a relationship that drains you. This is a brave choice, but it is also a necessary one for your growth and well-being. Remember, the people who are meant to be in your life will respect your boundaries. They will understand and appreciate your need for peace and will not take offense when you prioritize your well-being. Those who react negatively to your silence were never truly supportive of you to begin with, and their absence will ultimately be a blessing. Walking away is one of the most difficult yet empowering things you can do. It requires immense inner strength to walk away from people or situations that are not aligned with your values or your purpose. It requires you to trust yourself and to believe that you are deserving of more. Many people stay in toxic relationships or situations because they are afraid of what lies on the other side. They are afraid of the unknown, of being alone or failing. But here's the truth: walking away is not a failure. It is an act of self-respect. When you walk away silently, you are not doing it out of spite or anger. You are doing it because you know that you deserve to be in environments that nurture your growth, not hinder it. You are choosing to walk away from what no longer serves you so that you can make room for what does. Walking away is not easy. It requires you to confront your fears and to trust that something better awaits you on the other side. But it is a decision that will lead to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment in the long run. Silence is not only a powerful tool for protecting your peace, it is also a powerful tool for healing. When you cut people off silently, you give yourself the space to heal from whatever wounds were inflicted by the toxic relationship or situation. Healing requires time and space. It requires you to step back from the noise and allow yourself to process what you have experienced. It is not something that happens overnight, but it is a journey that begins the moment you choose to prioritize your well-being. Silence allows you to focus on your own healing without being distracted by the noise of others. It gives you the freedom to reflect on what you have been through and to begin the process of rebuilding yourself from the inside out. Healing through silence also means that you are not seeking validation or closure from others. You are not waiting for someone else to acknowledge your pain or to apologize. Instead, you are taking responsibility for your own healing and moving forward with grace. This is a powerful act of self-love. It shows that you are not dependent on others for your happiness or your healing. You are capable of healing yourself, and silence gives you the space to do so. Detaching from people or situations that no longer serve you is an art, and it requires grace. Detaching does not mean you harbor resentment or bitterness. It does not mean you wish ill upon the person or situation you are leaving behind. It simply means you are choosing to release them from your life with peace and love. When you detach with grace, you are acknowledging that the relationship or situation has run its course, and you are choosing to move on without drama or conflict. You are not burning bridges or holding on to grudges. You are simply walking away with the understanding that not all connections are meant to last forever. Detaching with grace requires emotional maturity. It requires you to let go of the need for closure, for validation, or for revenge. It requires you to accept that not everyone will understand or agree with your decision, and that's okay. You are not responsible for how others perceive your actions. You are only responsible for your own peace and well-being. When you detach with grace, you are also leaving room for forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean you are excusing someone's behavior. It simply means you are choosing to release the hold that the past has on you so that you can move forward with a clear heart and mind. Silence is not just a tool for avoiding conflict. It is a way to reclaim your power. When you refuse to react, when you cut people off silently, you are taking back control of your life. You are no longer allowing others to dictate your emotions or your actions. Reclaiming your power means understanding that you are in control of how you respond to the world around you. It means recognizing that you have the ability to protect your peace and to walk away from anything that threatens it. Many people give away their power by reacting to every insult, every provocation, every slight. They allow others to control their emotions and dictate their actions. But when you choose silence, you are reclaiming your power. You are saying, I will not allow others to disrupt my peace or dictate my life. Reclaiming your power through silence does not mean you are passive or weak. It means you are choosing to respond from a place of strength and wisdom rather than from a place of emotion or ego. It means you are choosing to rise above the noise and focus on what truly matters.